everyone, happy Sunday. Welcome to our webinar, Mapping Out Your Week Ahead. This is Simon with AvaTrade, and I'm very happy to have you back on our weekly webinar. A few things about myself. As I said, my name is Simon Friedman. I'm a Senior Account Manager with AvaTrade. I've been trading and involved in trading for the past 24 years. I started as a prop trader in New York City, June of 2000. And after doing that for 11 years, I stopped the prop trading. That was intense day trading. And I'll continue trading. Of course, I started to mentor and educate others. And I'm very happy to have this great opportunity to assist our customers at AvaTrade. The agenda of the webinar, as usual, we talk about indices, stocks, commodities, Forex. We discuss fundamentals, a little bit of a big picture, a little bit of the economic events going through economic calendar, and then looking at the charts for specific instruments. Risk warning, you can find a full statement at avatrade.com. Of course, everything we do here, it's purely educational. We do not suggest any trades. Social media channels, you are very welcome and encouraged to join us at Telegram X, which used to be Twitter. And as I always say, I keep on saying, YouTube channel is my favorite. You have a lot of tutorials, educational material. You have webinars, including this one, are being posted on a regular basis. So if you missed the live webinar, you can always find it on YouTube. Please make sure to subscribe. Click the like, only if you like it, of course, and feel free to share it with your friends. Now, if you are watching this on YouTube, please feel free to write your comments if you have any questions. We're looking to improve things all the time. Okay, so big picture. After the NFPs 2 weeks ago, the last week we had the CPI and PPI data, and we had an uptick in the CPI. So this is a nice article here on Barron's. The title says Fed shouldn't cut interest rate further this year, says one economist, and that's Ed Yardeni. He writes right here that Fed Chair Jerome Powell and fellow does have lost credibility. I'm not going to go into details, but according to Ed Yardeni, they're not really doing the job they're pretty much created to do, as they rushed into 0.5%, and they were convinced that the inflation is in control and it's going towards their goal. And now we had an uptick, so the different opinion also. Here, sometimes I show it to you. This is the CME tools based on the trader's prediction on the next interest rate cut. So we have here interest rate decision on November 7th. Before the CPI data, there was almost 100% probability of the next cut of 0.25. As you could see here, it went down to current percentage, 89.5% probability of that cut. So that's something to take into consideration. We're going to hear more things and more reports and more opinions from the analysts, of course, in the upcoming week. Now, another big thing happened last week. That was the presentation of Robotaxi. Some analysts actually said it before that it could be sell the news event. As you know, in trading, there's a phrase, you buy the rumors, you sell the news. And as you know, the Tesla went up ahead of that presentation, and then a few days before it starts selling. And after the presentation, the stock went down, as you could see here, 8.78%. And we'll take a look at the charts when we get there. And the same event, actually, the stock of Uber higher. We'll also take a look at the charts when we get there. So that's something that we were waiting for October 10th. It really pushed the price of the shares down. Now, 10-year yields, sometimes we look into it. As you could see here, we really held that 4 mark, and we moved higher this past week. That give additional boost to US dollar. On the other hand, it didn't really push the gold lower. So we'll discuss it when we get to gold in more details. And let's discuss the economic calendar. And before that, very important, especially for new people, to explain a little bit what this is. So economic calendar, it's a public information. You can find it on our web trader or the mobile app. Also, you can just Google and find any provider. It's, as I said, it is public information, and you can know about this ahead of time. Some people ask, should you follow it? I'm not here to tell you what you should or should not do, but I think any trader that trades regularly should be aware of these things. Now, that's already secondary, whether you trade with it or stay away. It's totally up to you. But I think we all, as a trading community, we should be aware of certain things coming up, especially big events. So here I take out the high impact events only. There's so much more. As I always say, you can filter through it. You can choose whatever's relevant to your trading. So let's go through it really quick. We have we just had the report on lower CPI from China, and then we have another one, the speech of Governor of Bank of New Zealand. Now on Tuesday we have employment data from UK. We have bank lending survey. I'm not sure what that is. We have CPI numbers from Canada, very important. We have CPI numbers from New Zealand. We have CPI numbers from UK, and President Lagarde speaking, the president of ECB, European Central Bank, and that happens a day before that decision on interest rate. So that brings us to Thursday, which is employment data from Australia. And here comes the decision. This is kind of a highlight of the week. Definitely will be affecting directly euro currency and, of course, the European indices, especially the German DAX. So we have the decision coming out at 12:15. By the way, here I chose the GMT times. You can adjust it on your reports to your local times or whatever you prefer. So we have the statement, we have a decision, and 30 minutes later we have a press conference. And similar to the Powell's conference, it's also important to watch. Also, we have retail sales from US, which is important on Thursday as well, and a monetary policy report hearing from Bank of England. Friday, we have a bunch of Chinese data. It's very important, as we know, with China, they're trying to inject funds and take measures to revive the economy. Initially, it worked. Now we lost 50%, about 50% of that advance move. So let's see how this news will affect the Chinese index. And retail sales from UK concludes the week. So this is the economic calendar. And let's move to the trading platform, and we'll start going through markets. So let's start with indices. Here's the China that I just mentioned. So you could see there was a huge move, and if you zoom out, we came briefly to the level of 2021, almost 3 years ago. We did it in 2 weeks, pretty much, in a week and a half. Huge move to the upside on a high volume, and right after that, we had in 2 days we erased that advanced move, and we're sitting around 50% retracement from that. So we'll take a look later. As you know, with China, I always mention 4 instruments, which is oil, copper, and 2 commodity currencies that are called, which is Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. So we'll take a look at that. So this is China. Japan is trying to hold these levels, facing strong resistance at the current levels. And US indices did good on Friday. I'm going to give you some numbers, which is describing the cash indices, not the futures. So Dow Jones closed up on Friday at 1%. At the record price. Now, again, we're talking about cash indices, not the futures. So the price, 42,864. S&P 500 was up 0.6%. Also finished the week at the highs and the record close. And Nasdaq was up 0.3%, and it's still below the July high by about 1.5%. Also, Russell, the small cap index, was up 2.1%. So let's take a quick look at them. So these are, of course, the CFDs for the futures, the instruments that you trade with us with AvaTrade. So this is Dow Jones, as you could see here. We at the brand new territory, all-time highs. What helped Dow Jones move higher, of course, is one of the reasons that it move up is strong earnings from JP Morgan, and it did push the Dow Jones higher together with other things. So that's Dow Jones. Again, as far as resistance, there's nothing. We are in the brand new territory. Let's see how this week continues. We had 5 in all the 3 major US indices. Again, not the futures, but the indices. So far, there's 5 consecutive weeks to the upside in green. S&P 500 as well. We in the brand new territory, all-time highs. We did hold support around these levels, or you can probably bring it lower at the resistance of mid-July. So let's see again how we start. Also to remind us, we have a lot of earnings coming out, about 1 in each 10 S&P companies are reporting this week. When we get to the stocks, I'm going to share with you a few specific stocks that are reporting. So definitely, together with the upcoming data, the earnings are affecting, like this past week, we had the kickoff of the bank's earnings, and JP Morgan came with good reports, and it pushed most of the banks to the upside. We'll also take a look when we get to the banks. So that's S&Ps, again, all-time highs. Nasdaq, as we said, it is on the way. It could reach it or maybe not. That a high of mid-July. So far, we trading, we closed here 20,413. We'll continue watching Nasdaq. And here's the Russell that we said had a big move on Friday. As you could see, the race pretty much the whole week of moving down, and we are closing at 2247 on Friday. So that's indices. Now let's take a look at German index really quick. We had the high on the 27th of September, and then we sold a little bit. And this past week, we tried to move higher. As you could see, it's a green week. And this week, we have that decision from European Central Bank, which definitely, together with Euro, will be affecting as well the DAX index. So we'll continue watching, and this week is very, very important for DAX. And let's take a quick look at UK FTSE. So you could see here, we discussed about this channel for many times, and it's still within the channel. As you could see here, the bottom is around 81.80 and the top is around 83.50. So that's about 150 points channel that's been going on for a while, with occasional moves either down or up, but we are within that channel. And as I always say, if something is trading in the narrow channel for a very long time, something is cooking, and we are to expect some serious moves out of it. Which way? I guess we're going to find out. We don't have a crystal ball to look into, and that's the beauty of trading. Okay, so that's as far as indices. Let's take a quick look at individual stocks, and we'll start with banks, as we saw here, move on JP Morgan, and most of the banks, if not all, went up. And there's another thing. I'm not showing it, but the news a few days ago came from the TD Bank that actually they admitted doing a money laundering, and they were penalized by $3 billion to pay in penalty for that misdeed. Very sad. You look just a little bit off the topic. The CEO had a speech there apologizing and so on, and we're still going to hear more details on that. So besides that, most of the banks went higher. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, I think we hit the all-time high, but closed a little bit lower there. Bank of America, nice move. Despite, as we said a few times, Warren Buffett selling the stock. Citigroup approaching the level of the end of July here for possible resistance. We'll take a look at that. So these are the things. Now, if we already talk about the banks, we have a few banks reporting this week. So let's take a quick look at them. I'm going to switch to the MT5. I prepared it there. So we have Bank of America and Goldman Sachs are reporting on Tuesday. So this is Bank of America. Again, fundamentally, Warren Buffett sold a big stake or part of his stake in Bank of America. The stock was going down. Now we had a nice bounce thanks to JP Morgan's good earnings. So they are reporting on Tuesday. Goldman Sachs as well, reporting on Tuesday. As we said, they are at almost all-time highs. Citigroup reporting on Tuesday as well. So those three banks are reporting on Tuesday. Another stock which affects Dow Jones directly, it's one of the biggest holdings in the Dow Jones Index, which is United Healthcare, and it is reporting on Tuesday as well. Now, another bank reports on Wednesday, which is Morgan Stanley. It looks like it is at all-time highs, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, a strong company. As you could see, it looks good on the chart. So they're also reporting this week on Wednesday. Another important company reporting is Netflix. As you could see, the last session we sold a little bit on the market moving higher. Let's take a look what the report is. Stock's been doing good. Let's see, we are at the all-time highs, and we're going to be continue watching the earnings for it. And there's, of course, as I said, there's about 10% of S&P's stocks reporting this week, so that so much more. I just prepared a few of them. American Express also currently is at the all-time highs, and it is reporting on Friday. Netflix is reporting, as we said, on Thursday. So again, Tuesday, Bank of America, Citigroup, Goldman. We have Wednesday, Morgan Stanley. We have Netflix reporting on Thursday, American Express on Friday. And there's another one which is not relating to the banks or high tech, but it's an important industry, which is pharmaceutical. Johnson & Johnson's reporting on Tuesday as well. As you could see here, we've been fighting with the 50-day moving average here. So we'll watch those earnings and see how it affects the share price. As we said at the beginning, when we looked at the presentation, we had Tesla selling after the presentation of the robotaxi. As you could see here, We actually, I think we spoke about it last week. 220 was an important level. Next important level is 200. So we did just tanked from around 240 to below 220. We'll be watching that. And of course, it was beneficial to Uber as they are competing, I guess, about the self-driving taxis, right? As Uber is the main provider, one of the main providers of the taxi service. Here we go. Uber actually gapped up, and I think it's an all-time highs. Yes, it is. Big move on Uber in one day. Reaction to that. Not such exciting news from Tesla. I suggest if you can find the articles about that presentation just to understand. The bottom line is with Tesla, it's kind of a long-term planning, and Uber is focusing on here and now. And I guess that's what investors like to just switch from investing into promises into investing into what's working. So it's just my simple explanation, but article explains it all. I'm sure there are more articles than that. Here we go. Tesla down, Uber up. Okay. A few more things. Boeing moved up on Friday. You know, there was a strike. It's been going, a lot of technical issues and so on. Guess what? CEO just announced, the new CEO, Kelly Ortberg, Boeing president and CEO. She announced that they will be cutting about 10% jobs, and that translates into about 17,000 jobs, and they will be starting in the next few months. So it's not a positive or happy news for those people that actually might be fired, but in the trading world, announcement like that, in a simple number perspective, affects the company in a positive way, as the whole idea of cutting jobs is to save the money on payroll and increase the bottom line. So here we go. The reaction was up on Boeing shares. That's it pretty much as far as stocks, and we'll move to commodities. As we said, with China, I look at copper, not just me, most of the traders look at copper and oil. So as you could see here, copper reacted to the China sell-off. We did hold this level around 4.44, and the last 2 days we moved higher. Let's see if China did the same. Yeah, kind of a positive reaction in the past 2 trading sessions. So copper moved with it as well. Crude oil, similar reaction here, sell-off with China, a retracement, about 50%, even more. And the last 2 days, we had the move on Thursday and Friday, we're a little bit almost flat. Now, and I think it's important to add on crude oil that we're living at the time of a lot of turmoil, and we have a lot of geopolitical issues, and the major one is currently is the Middle East war, of course. And it's very sensitive. Every piece of news that we receive affects everything else, and it also affects oil. So it's hard to really predict, even if we're not trying it, but just to mention it, very unstable, and any news can affect the oil. So as of now, we are trading in the $5 channel between 72.5 and 77.5. So this channel here, about $5. We're gonna continue watching that. Gold, as I mentioned to you, on the yields going higher, dollar went higher, as you could see here, and gold went higher as well, which is a little bit unusual. But if you think logically, and I mentioned it many times, just bear with me, gold is not only inflational or anti-inflational instrument, it's also a safe haven. So this is one of the occasions when all three things are moving higher. Gold moving higher, US dollar is moving higher, and the market is making, or the equity market to be precise, is making all-time highs. So one of the quote of one of the movies says, something's got to give, like something is not clear here. So we should see probably in the upcoming week either reactions in the dollar to the downside, reaction to the market to the downside to match that safe haven reaction, or also it could be that gold retracement for the last 2 days, which was very strong pretty much. We went from a little bit below 2600 to 2656 here, right? So something's got to move. It's either we'll see a move down in gold and continuation, the market's going higher and the dollar going higher, or we could see gold continuing higher and then either dollar retracing to the downside or market being selling off, or just the market being selling off, or just the dollar being selling off. But something's gonna happen because all three of them going into the same upward direction. Very, very important to notice it. Okay, so that's gold, oil, and copper. And I just want to show you the big movers for the week. If you remember, cocoa, the previous week sold. It was a huge move. I believe it was 14 something percent. And this week there was a move to the upside by almost 10%, 9.78% in cocoa. So you could see a nice recovery, not all the way, but a nice try. Palladium had a party. It was a good week for palladium. And take a look after that correction since the week of September 9th, we are trying to move. So it's something that some trader would consider, this is weekly chart, right, as a bullish flag when you have a pole and the flag and then we break the previous week to the upside. We could see continuation and the move on palladium or not, but we'll definitely watch it. So palladium was up 6.86% for the week. Another one was up strongly, gasoline. On the oil, actually, crude oil going down, the gasoline is showing some strength here after getting out of this previous resistance. So it was up 2.57% for the week. We're going to watch that. Now, on the downside, the champion is natural gas. After hitting the 3 areas, we said, we've been sliding lower, and this past week, natural gas lost about 7.9%. So let's see how we're holding and what's next for natural gas. Another loser was sugar. For the week, it lost 3.35% after this huge move to the upside in the previous few weeks. So that's not a bad thing, not necessarily a turning point, maybe just a correction. We'll be watching sugar for the upcoming week. And another loss is second consecutive week for soybeans after trying to get out of this slump there. So that's on soybeans. And that concludes our commodities review, and we move to Forex. And of course, we start with dollar index. As we said, dollar's been strong after this robust week of the last week of September. We are continuing to the upside on the daily chart. If you remember, we had a nice move to the upside, a little bit of a consolidation here and continuing higher. So we'll continue watching that. Of course, if we look at the majors, they just move in the opposite direction. Euro dollar, not to forget the decision of ECB this week. As you could see here, we did have that spike below 109 and came right back. So it looks like this 109 area, approximate 109 area, is immediate support for euro dollar. Pound, the same thing, was sitting on the support here around 1.3040. This is from where we made this high recently. and we came back to that level and holding it. Let's see how it works this week with some data. Dollar yen moved higher, but as you could see here, it's having a hard time breaking this high of mid-August. The high here was 149.39, and we are really hitting that ceiling, not being able to break through. And it's all about, of course, the strength of a dollar, but it's not succeeding here. So it could be, judging by this, that the strength of yen could come back maybe this coming week, maybe not yet, but we'll definitely watch that. USDCAD super strong on the weakness of oil and the strength of a dollar. We did break through 137.40 area here. There was a lot of fight around this level. As you could see, we did break through it. We came right back. We did move higher, came right back with this move. I think this was the PPI data, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. But we are trading very, very strongly on the dollar CAD. And of course, on one side, the strength of the US dollar. The other side, there's still the weakness or relative weakness of crude oil, which affecting the price of Canadian dollar as well. Now, as we said with China, we had a huge sell-off recently on both of them, especially New Zealand dollar. So let's see, Australian dollar, we did have a sell-off. It didn't go up on Chinese move up. It came back. It's holding weak here on the strength of a dollar. On the last two sessions, as you could see here, it did really follow the Chinese recovery a little bit after that sell-off, recent sell-off or correction. So 2 positive days really together with China. Same thing here, 2 positive days together with China and New Zealand dollar. It did have a lot of weakness here coming into this 0.6076 area. So we're definitely going to be watching the Chinese data and the reaction of the Chinese market. And if we continue higher on Chinese market here into getting closer to the recent high, if that happens, we might see also moves up in both of these currency pairs, Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. So we'll continue that. Dollar Swiss, after channeling here for quite a while, we did break through this 0.8550 area, and it looks like we're consolidating here and building kind of support around this level. So let's see if the dollar strength continues. We actually might see the continuation here on this. The weekly chart, it looks very nice. As you could see here, we raised a few weeks of sell-off, and we are holding that territory, as you could see here. Now let's take a look at the yen. As we said, it could be building. To the strength. So far, it's been weak. Swiss franc, as you could see here, what's important to find these big candles here. For some reason, this huge move started here. Take a look. We're right at that area. So definitely, we should be watching this area here. The high of this candle is 174.19. Let's see if that will hold the Swiss yen from moving higher and possible reversal. We'll continue watching that. As you could see here, USDJPY is not really that strong, not trying to break through the recent highs yet, even though the Aussie was strong due to the Chinese last 2 days of recovery. CAD is even weaker against the yen, as you could see here. Euro, it's really consolidating here, which is also important to realize. You could see here from the point of the sell-off here, we're having a hard time breaking this 163.47. So we'll definitely, this week, we'll have the interest rate decision from European Central Bank. So the strength of euro could overpower this and we could move higher. And on the other hand, the weakness of it and the strength of yen could push it lower as well. So we're going to continue watching that. The same thing on pound yen. We are sitting in these levels right on the almost across of 200 and 100 moving averages. And the last one, New Zealand dollar as well. After the sell-off, we are trying to reclaim that territory. Okay, so again, just as far as currency, dollars continue higher. ECB decision could move euro up or down, depends on the decision and the reaction. And yen, it looks like, is after a little bit of a sell-off, we are trying to build up the strength again. Okay, and for dessert, let's take a quick look at the Bitcoin. Bitcoin went up together with the markets, as you could see here, nice reaction to the upside. We've been trading between psychological 60,000 and about 65,000, so 5,000 channel here. Was a big sell-off here, and then a nice recovery the last week or the last day of the week. Currently, as we look into it, it is a little bit in red today on Sunday. So definitely, the strength of a dollar is not helping it. But on the other hand, the strength of the equity markets is helping it. So let's see how this week will play for cryptocurrencies. Okay, so I think we are pretty much done for today. Please don't forget about the social media channels. If you are watching this on YouTube channel, please subscribe, click on the bell, be notified on new things coming in, write your comments, share, click on likes. Now, to summarize today's session, which very important in our preparation for the upcoming week. And I forgot to mention my favorite phrase of the traders: you plan your trade and then you trade your plan. So be prepared. We have few events this week. We have a lot of S&P 500 companies reporting, including some banks and other companies, as we said, Bank of America, Citigroup, Goldman, Johnson & Johnson, United Healthcare, Morgan Stanley, Netflix, American Express are reporting among those stocks. We have interest rate decision from ECB this week. We have other data, including Chinese data. We'll definitely continue watching Chinese market, which had a lot of volatility, moving to three years high, and then giving away more than 50% of that. We're going to be watching commodities, including gold, oil, copper, and those that had big moves this week, including cocoa, palladium, to the upside, and the ones that sold this previous week, natural gas, sugar, and soybeans. And I want to wish everyone a good weekend. We still have time left. Get some energy, get some power, get some rest. Prepare yourself for the upcoming week. It's going to be an exciting week as usual. Watch your risk, have a plan, be happy, be healthy. All the best. Take care.